Hello and welcome back to the Peachy Keens. Today we are at Bryan's Head Resort. We're spending a couple days here, so we'd like to show you around and give you pretty much a beginner's view or family view to the resort. All right, let's go. Our choice of transportation was to fly into Salt Lake City, and then we got on a connecting flight there, which flew us right into Cedar City Airport, which is just a very small, quaint airport, which then is just a short 45-minute drive up to the resort. Of course, you also have the option of driving. Bryan Head Resort is located in Dixie National Forest. The resort's about a 3-hour drive from Las Vegas or a 3.5-hour drive from Salt Lake. Of course, if you're driving, you want to pay attention to the weather conditions to see if you will need chains on your tires to get up the mountain. Thankfully, when we went, the roads were nice and clear and we had no trouble. You'll also want to make sure if you're renting a place that the roads will be accessible if there is heavy snow. Of course, one of the first things you're going to want to do is to pick up your equipment if you're renting. There are several different places where you can rent from. We chose to rent from Bryan Head Sports, which is located right next to the Giant Steps Mountain. We found their staff to be very helpful, and we were told that their prices are about $10 cheaper than renting from the resort. One thing we didn't realize, unfortunately, till the last day was that you could rent sleds from Bryan Head Sports for only $5. So the sled that you see the kids on, we were able to rent for $5 for 24 hours. What a great deal. My husband's, on the other hand, was just a broken sled that he found in the snow. Thumbs up for resourcefulness. Once you've picked up your equipment, you can head next door to the Giant Steps Lodge or over at the Navajo Lodge to pick up your lift tickets if you've ordered them online. You'll just go to the outside window labeled tickets and you can pick them up there. You can also purchase them there if you have not done it online ahead of time. It just saves time to do it ahead of time. They'll hand you a badge, which they'll write your name on, and it'll have a little barcode to scan so that when you go to the lift, they will just scan that barcode. Also in 2023, they're offering the free Power Kids Season Pass that's good for all Power Pass mountains. This allows your child to ride the ski lift for free. You can also sign up for this ahead of time, which also saves time. Now that you have your equipment and lift ticket in hand, it's time to hit the slopes. We suggest you start with Navajo Peak if you have beginners in your group or children. It's a great place to start. Navajo Mountain is comprised of only green and blue runs, which makes it the best place for beginners. It's also where, if you sign your child up for lessons, that you will meet for those lessons. If you're an absolute beginner, you're probably going to want to start over near lift number 6, the Pioneer Lift. Just to the right of it, there is a magic carpet that you can ride up, which will take you to just a short little hill where you can practice coming down the mountain in a nice, safe space. Once you advance past that, you can get on that lift number 6 and ride to the top, where you can ride Fun Run, first time, and you're ready. Our kids had some prior experience skiing, so we jumped on the Navajo Express number 4 and rode up, and our first time down was taking Paradise. So let's take a quick look at that. All right, we're skiing the Paradise. Ready? It's a green on Navajo. Here we go. Go ahead. Let's speed this up. As you can see, this is a nice run to get started on. It just has the moderate slope, and there are places in it where it kind of flattens out and you have to push along the way, but it was a great starting point for my kids. It also has a lot of wide open space, and because the crowds were not very bad when we were there, it allowed the children to not feel nervous about people coming right next to them, so we enjoyed that as well. After riding Paradise for a couple of times, we were ready to jump back on lift number 5 and come down Navajo. Navajo is a great green ride which has a bridge that you get to go underneath, so that's really fun. There is a long space that you have to kind of push through or pick up speed before you hit it, but other than that, it's another great run to try after Paradise. Another gym that we didn't recognize until coming down Navajo a couple of times is the Maryland Parkway. This meets up with the Navajo but doesn't have that long flat space like the Navajo does. So it's a quick way to get to still do the bridge but not have to push as much as you had to do on the Navajo. We'll speed this up again, get down the mountain a little quicker. After hitting the slopes, you might get hungry, so you can head down to the bottom of the mountain and head inside of the Navajo Lodge. Once you enter in, to your right, you'll see kind of a customer service desk, and then there's also an area on the right to purchase ski lessons if you would like. Just to the left of where you would pay for ski school, you can purchase lift tickets and rentals if you didn't do that ahead of time. And then as you round the corner to the left, there is a ski shop where you can purchase things if you decide you need some more mittens or some more ear coverings. We definitely had to go in there a couple of times and buy some extra things. After you pass the gift shop and round the corner, you'll find the Navajo Cafe. It's the perfect spot for a lunch after a morning of being on the mountain. They have things like burgers, chicken sandwiches, chicken tenders, pizza, salad. They also have grab and go and hot and cold drinks. Also on that same floor, you can find the Navajo Corner, which has fast and fresh options for breakfast and lunch, which are more grab and go. They also have a seating area where you can sit and eat your lunch. If you're looking for another green that's a little more challenging than Paradise and Navajo, you can take a little jog off of Paradise on Fremont and go down the Navajo Express, which runs along the ski lift line. It's a nice big open run just like the other runs, but it does run along the ski lift, so you have the poles to deal with, which makes it a little bit more challenging. Once your group is ready for some more challenge, you can head to the back side of the mountain where there's quite a few blues. You'll just take the Navajo Express to the top of the mountain. Then once you get off of that lift, you'll take a little right, and then you'll have to ski down some more of the blue slopes. I can't tell you exactly which ones we took because there's several right there, but then once you get down to the bottom, that's when you'll reach the bridge. You'll go across the bridge, which will then kind of circle around to the bottom, which will take you to ski lift number 5, which is the Wildflower Ski Lift, which will take you back up to the top of the mountain and will allow you to ski down those blue slopes again. I will tell you, the back side of the mountain, the snow was very thick, which was fun, but it did make it a little more difficult for the kids in skiing. That may have just been due to the conditions that day, so I would say definitely go for it and give it a try, because it was a fun part of the mountain that there weren't very many people on. These, of course, were harder than the other side of the mountain because they were blues, but our children were definitely able to do it, and it gave them more of a challenge. This one you see here is the Ute, UTE, that went down, and as you can see, they handled it really well. They were definitely a little bit scared, but nothing too difficult. While we spent the first 2 days at Navajo, we were ready for a bigger challenge, so we headed over to Giant Steps. We parked right here in this lot by the number 3 lift, and then we got right on the number 3 lift, went up to the top, and rode down the green Despa.
Okay, this lift, no bar. There's no bars on there. You gotta lean back. Hold on. Alright, this bus. Yes, that's where we're going. Here we go.
Let's speed this up. As you can see, Despa is also a nice big run with lots of space for all the skiers. There is this one little portion right here that it becomes flat and you might have to push yourself a little, but once you clear that, you'll cut across the slopes and be able to head back down to the ski lift.
Huh?
How do you get this?
Good job. Keep going.
After mastering the Despa, we took the same number 3 chairlift up to the top, and then here you can see us taking a little jot down the mountain. It's just a short little distance over to the number 5 lift, which will then take you further up the mountain, which I'll show you here. So once you go up the number 5, it will take you to the very top of the mountain. Once we got up there, we went down the Blue Aught, A-U-G-H-T. To access this run, once you exit the number 5 lift, you'll just make a sharp right-hand turn, and there'll be a little bit of a steep incline to go down to where you'll make a left-hand turn. Over on the left hand of the screen, you see that sign. That signage will point you down to the right for the Blue Aught run. I will say it is a little bit more difficult than East Coast skiing as far as the steepness seemed more like a black on East Coast, but it was nothing our kids couldn't handle after skiing the other mountain for a day. I'm happy to say that we had very few falls during our trip, but this little part right here was an epic fail due to the thick snow, and it was quite funny because 3 of us ended up falling.
Okay, we recovered from our triple crash.
Time to speed things up.
That's what we just came down.
Oh my gosh, that's We're going down it again!
As you can tell by our videos and by the Giant Steps map, there are wonderful blues and blacks located on Giant Steps. It's also a great mountain because, like our family, we were able to split up and the kids and I could go down the blues while my husband went down the blacks. So it's definitely one you want to try if you make it out to Brian's Head. Just like over at Navajo, we're sure that you're going to work up an appetite. So down at the bottom of the mountain, there is the Giant Steps Cafe. Once you go inside, they have different choices, hot choices like hamburgers, cheeseburgers, chicken nuggets, things of that sort. They also have pizza and soup and salad. And then they also have a variety of drinks and cold choices, things like snack foods like yogurt and things of that sort. If you're looking for a sit-down option, you can head to the back of the building and enter in, where you will find, if you go up to the 3rd floor, the Last Chair Grill and Brews. They have both a kids menu and an adult menu, which features pub-style food. So we had hamburgers and cheeseburgers and fries and that type of food, which we really enjoyed, being able to sit down and warm up before we headed back out to the slopes. There is a ski shop over at Giant Steps, but it is very small, so we would recommend going over to Navajo if you need to purchase anything, as there will be more selection over there than there is at Giant Steps. Now that we've shown you both mountains, we want to take a minute and show you an area that we didn't realize until our last day, and at that point it was too late to utilize. Just next door to Bryan Head Sports is a strip mall with several great places located. There's a new restaurant called Rosales Mexican, and there's a pizza shop, and there's also a general store. The general store is a great place where you can purchase souvenirs, or if you need some groceries or snack foods. We found it a very cute little store. At the general store, you can also purchase your ice skating tickets, which is open from 4 to 9 p.m. Down at the end of the strip mall is a little rectangular place where you can go ice skating. Right next door to the general store, you'll find the cute little Mountain Peak coffee shop where you can find sweet treats and warm drinks. Now that we've shown you all that Bryan Head Resort has to offer, we'd like to take a minute and share with you some of our thoughts and things that we've learned that might help you in your planning. So I just wanted to take a minute and just tell you some thoughts now that we're at the end of our trip. We absolutely loved our time here in Bryan's Head. One thing we definitely loved this year in 2023, they do the kids ski free. So that just means that they get their lift tickets free, which was a great savings. And so then all we had to pay for was the rental. So if you had your own equipment for your kids, then they'd absolutely ski free. So we love that. We love that everyone that we encountered, all the staff at the resort, was super friendly, super helpful, never ran into anybody with a bad attitude, and just overall very family friendly resort to come to. We love the variety and the different places to ski. As you heard, there's the Navajo Mountain, which is better for the beginners, and then you can move up to Big Steps, and I think there's over 71 different treks that you can take here at Bryan's Head. So that is fantastic, with a variety for everyone in the family. One tip as far as checking the weather, it was not predicted at all to snow while we were here, and it snowed all day yesterday. So we were thankful to have all the different layers that we had. We had on 3 layers. The temperature while we were here ranged from about 9 degrees to 11 degrees, which meant that the wind chill was in the negatives. So I'll leave in the description box some of the things that we used. We bought these ear protectors, which were great because they were thin to wear with our helmets, and it kept our ears warm underneath our helmets. And like I said, I'll just leave some of those things in the description of where you can find those. Another thing I wanted to share was as far as planning your meals. Probably where you're staying, you're going to be with a kitchen, hopefully, because this area is super small. There is a Mexican restaurant and a little pizza restaurant that's right down by the Big Steps Lodge, right next door to it, actually. You can walk from there, but your only other choices are really to eat at the lodge at both Navajo and Big Steps. So I didn't realize that when I planned to be here. I kind of planned that we would go out to eat dinner late at night. Not late at night, but when the slopes closed, and we realized quickly after that the slopes close at 4, the lodges close about 4:30, so you really can't go eat there. So really your only options are the pizza or the Mexican restaurant. So what we decided was we kind of switched things up, and we ended up just eating at the lodge during the day, and then we would just cook at night at the condo. So when you're planning, you might want to plan to eat out for lunch and then to eat in for dinner, or you can take advantage of the pizza restaurant or the Mexican restaurant if those are open when you come. So another thing I wanted to mention was in regards to where to stay. I know when I was looking for our Airbnb, I was kind of confused, like, do we need to stay on the mountain or just across the street? I will say that there's two mountains here at Bryan's Head. There's the Navajo and the Big Steps. They're literally just right down the road from each other, so like a 2-minute drive. So they're not far, and we actually found it easiest to have our car at whichever mountain we were skiing on. So when we skied Navajo, we just drove to Navajo and parked there, and when we skied Big Steps, we parked there. So even though we were staying at a ski in, ski out, we really didn't use that feature, except for today. We did use it for the sledding, so it was nice for that. But as far as when you're looking for a place, this area is super small. So, you know, if it says you're half a mile, it's not a big deal to drive. The parking lots are pretty open, at least when we were here. It wasn't very busy at all. So I wouldn't put too much stock into having to stay right on the mountain, especially if you have little kids. It's just kind of nice to have your car right wherever you're skiing at. Thanks for joining us today at Bryan's Head. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Stay peachy.